Welcome, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aaron Stewart, CEO of Vantec, and pleased to welcome you here tonight for our November pitch event. Got some exciting companies on the go. First off, I'd just like to acknowledge that it's with respect and gratitude that we are gathered here today on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We would not be here without our sponsors, and so we have carefully selected these great sponsors that support the companies that we showcase here at Vantec, and so we really do appreciate their support. NRC is a partner of ours as well and helps with some of the workshops that we put on to get these companies ready for this event and really help them shine. So we do appreciate their support here as well. And Keiretsu is another group that we partner with. We see them kind of as the next stage for a lot of the companies that pitch at Vantec. So they sort of focus more on the C plus and Series A stage. They're North America wide, and we work closely with the group that is the Northwest Rockies. And so I just want to say a little bit about Vantec for those of you who are here for the first time. We are really a community. We meet here on a monthly basis, and some of the benefits to a Vantec membership is access to over 100 pre-vetted companies, getting together and connecting with other angel investors in the ecosystem, and an opportunity to promote your own programs and events and really anything that you think that others within the ecosystem would find interesting. We also have a summer social that we throw every year, and it's always a banger, and so you get early access to that as well. We have Dealum, which is our back office system, and this is really where you find all the information about the companies that present here. So you can get their contact information, reach out to them, you can see videos or pitch decks, you can get their information so that you know what you're coming in to see, but also can go backwards and see who has pitched here in the past. You can even see the event videos that we record and live stream as well. So if you're ever not able to come in person, you can join online. And hi to everyone who is joining online today. And we also, I want to highlight this is something that we've started a little bit recently, is to actually have a watch list of companies. So companies that might not get onto stage at Vantec, but may still be worthy a look. We have a section on Dealum now for the watch list. And I'm going to try to keep that kind of fresh. They'll be in there for a couple of months. We'll cycle them out and just keep putting new ones that maybe are a little bit too early or that we just that don't make the mark, right? Because it's not just about fitting our criteria. It's about how they stack up against all the other companies that come to apply at Vantec as well. Because we're a community, we look to you to help grow our community. And so if you refer a member and they become a member, we'll give you $100 off your next year's dues. So refer 6 people and your membership's free. And we have our newsletter. And this is how we can promote a lot of the ecosystem events, a lot of our partners events. And so if you aren't already signed up, I strongly urge you to go to our website, vantec.ca, and sign up for our monthly newsletter. So on to some community announcements. And this is where some of our partners, if you ever want to make an announcement, can reach out and we can set you up with an opportunity here. First off, we were talking about investment cohorts. This was something that we were getting some market research and trying to understand the level of interest from all of you and investors in the ecosystem. I wanted to make an announcement to say that we have decided against going with the investment cohorts. We are exploring other changes that we may bring in the new year, but the investment cohorts didn't get the interest level that we really wanted to move forward with this. And so we are going to stay with the status quo, which has been working for us for a very long time, and we will make adjustments as we see fit, try some new things, see what's sort of fits. But just wanted to give an update on that. We also have a startup visa program as part of our Vantec umbrella, and I have Jackson here to tell us a little bit about what's coming up with the startup visa program.
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, we will be having our last Startup Visa pitch event, which is slated for 9 a.m. tomorrow. If you're a full Vantec member, just pay attention to your emails. You will receive in your inbox a Zoom link, just register, and it'll be from our members who have scoured the best companies they could find that meet the angel criteria, and they've brought it hopefully to they've brought it here to Vantec. and hopefully you can make an attendance. I think it's going to be the last event of the year. It'll be really great. It's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you have an inbox and you're a full Vantec member, you'll see it in your inbox with a Zoom link. Just register there. You have any other questions, just contact me, and I'll be happy to assist. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackson. So just if you are looking to contact Jackson, suv@vantec.ca. All right. Next up, I would like to invite Miriam from Manning Elliott, one of our sponsors, to tell us a little bit about the shred changes that are underway or pending right now. I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. It's always exciting to be here. We're one of the sponsors. Manning Elliott is a full-service accounting company, but we also offer shred and grant funding support for startups. And we are really excited about the budget that came out yesterday. I know it's it's not approved yet, and there's some things that everybody agrees with, but we are very excited about the changes, at least to R&D funding that have been proposed. And so one point is that there's going to be a new group of eligible public companies that can now, instead of the 15% non-refundable credit that gets applied to their income tax return, they can now get a refundable 35% tax credit. It has also been proposed to bring capital expenses back into the shred program. So companies can now not just claim their wages and materials, but they can also claim capital expenses for research tools like ovens or microscopes or any kind of thing that they use more than 90%. Then also the expenditure limit has been increased from 3 million. Originally was set 4.5 million, but it has actually been increased to 6 million, which also brings changes to the taxable capital limit, but for details, just come talk to me afterwards. And then there were also some announcement about the clean economy tax credits, which have some expansions in bringing new other critical minerals into the program, expanding some of the rates for a longer time. So that should all bring more investment into R&D and clean tech. And then that's more interesting probably for us on the shred side, but the CRA has also proposed changes to the entire shred program, to the process of how they are using AI-driven triage to downscreen some of the lower risk claims, supposed to bring the processing time down from 180 days to 90 days. And there's going to be an elective pre-claim process where companies can get their technology pre-approved before they even spend any money on the project. So that's should be interesting for companies that are just starting out or thinking to start a new claim with a new project. There was the QR code doesn't show up, but that's okay. So if you have any questions about the details, talk to Michael or myself. I had a little QR code there to take a picture of, but that's okay. You can talk to me afterwards. Thank you.
Sorry about the QR code. We'll make sure to include the QR code in the post-event email that gets sent out. And if anyone wants to take a photo of this, then please do. But also, I'm very happy to connect you as well. So Aaron@vantec.ca, and I can connect you. Okay. Next up, I want to just make a quick announcement. Oh, I'll go back. There you go. I see a phone. All right. So What If Capital, we have a round open right now, and we invest in a lot of the companies that come through Vantec. I would say probably 90% or more of the companies that we invest in do pitch at Vantec. And so we've been accepting new investments since September, and we've raised $1.1 million so far. Part because we have had an exit, a tranche of one of our recent exits that we've been able to roll over. And I bring that up because I want to talk a little bit about these rollovers just with everyone in the room. We got so many people, faces, investors here. So I just want to give a quick example of what this can look like, because the rollover with this tax credit can be very, very attractive. And because we just did this, we have a real life example that we can just walk through. So an investor bought 1,000 shares in May 2019 at $19.50 per share. That's 19,500 for those who aren't as quick as me with math. They got a 30% tax credit, and that was $5,850. And they then rolled over their investment in November of this year. And our share price right now is $28 per share. They then got that rollover tax credit, again, on now the appreciated value. So their tax credit was $8,400. They still own the 1,000 shares at a value of $28,000, but it only cost them at this point $5,685. And I get there because their initial investment was $19,500. They got $5,850 back. They got another 8,400 back. And then when they did that rollover, they were charged $435 for taxes. So that just gives you a very clear understanding of sort of what this looks like after about 6.5 years that this person has had the investment in. This is sort of the capital cost and what they've come out with. So wanted to just share that because this is a question I get a lot from investors that are considering investing in What If. And so we do have our round still open, and we have allocation room for that 30% tax credit until the end of the year. So if anyone is interested, please reach out to myself. I'd be more than happy to chat with you about that. Okay, on to the main event for this evening. So we've got some really interesting companies that are pitching today. We have 3 2.5-minute pitches. I'm changing from 90 seconds to 2.5 because we've put this extra minute in and we're keeping it. So 3 2.5-minute pitches and 5 5-minute pitches with Q&A. For those of you that would like to share feedback or show interest, please use this QR code. It really is great to pass on any feedback that you have. You can do that anonymously. We don't have to share who is sharing this feedback. You can ask to be connected. We can make that connection for you. So it really is great to use this. There are paper copies around as well. We'll utilize those, but I will keep this up just while we have all the phones come up and down. And now we'll get to the companies. So our first presenter is Masood from AloAI. So I'd like to introduce Masood to come and tell us a little bit about his business, AloAI. So pass this over to you. Before you dive right into the pitch, let's do that first minute. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to start AloAI.
Hello, everyone. Very nice to meet you all. I'm Masood, founder and CEO at AloAI. And this journey really started long before I wrote a single line of code. My background is in software engineering and AI. And I spent the last several years building multiple products for different tech companies. Both of my parents are doctors, so I spent most of my childhood in their clinics, watching the front desk really drown in phone calls, paperwork, and a lot of patients waiting for help. Years later, after I moved to Vancouver, a friend of mine one night woke up with a terrible toothache, and I tried to help. I started calling clinic after clinic. 5, 10, 12 places I called, and no one answered. That's when I realized the same operational failure I watched as I was growing up happens pretty much everywhere. It exists everywhere. And it's a massive underserved problem that technology can't fix. That's where AloAI was born. And not just as a business, but as a way to give patients back access and give clinics back time. Healthcare always starts with a phone call. But today, over 10 million calls go missed every day in dental offices. And that results in more than $24 billion lost revenue across the industry. And it doesn't stop there. More than $1 million is lost per clinic every year due to missed recall opportunities. That's why we built AloAI, an AI-powered receptionist that answers the calls, books appointments, verifies insurance, sends reminders, and follows up with patients on autopilot. And in the last year alone, we have saved over 30,000 missed calls. We have booked over 3,500 appointments and recovered more than $2 million in revenue for our partner clinics. And so far, we have expanded to 53 live locations across the US. And any of those numbers represents a real human moment, a patient that didn't get turned away and a clinic that didn't lose the appointment. Our go-to-market advantage is distribution, not sales. Instead of selling clinic to clinic, we partner up with a lot of agencies and consultants who already have trust with hundreds of clinics. And we expand through a white label partner ecosystem. And so far, we have over 200 partners that are waiting to bring AloAI into their network. We are raising $1.5 million to bring every part of patient automation to the clinics, and we are looking to expand into new regions like Saudi Arabia and UAE. And one last thing, that AloAI exists for one simple belief, that patients shouldn't go unheard and clinics should not lose care because a phone didn't get answered. Thank you.
Fantastic job. Thank you so much, Masood. So remember, Masood is here with a few other people as well. If you want to stand up or show your hand, make sure to chat with them during the networking here. All right. Next up, I'd like to invite Brian from Bikebac up to tell us a little bit about yourself, what brought you to start Bikebac, your background, and then we'll get into your pitch.
Awesome. Thank you. Everyone, I'm Brian, and I'd like to start by talking a little bit about why I started Bikebac, but also why I chose my team that I started Bikebac with. Myself, my background is in technology sales. I've always had a passion for using technology to solve people's problems, and I've always taken a very solution-based approach and consultative approach to solving problems for clients and customers alike. But about a decade ago, I moved to Whistler, and I met both my co-founders in a men's cycling clinic. And from there, we became quite good friends, seeing ourselves at our best moments and sometimes injured at our worst moments, but really bonding over the love of cycling. But we all shared one common trauma: having a bike get stolen. From there, that problem has always been in a cyclist's mind. And one day I went to Vinny, unknowing of his background, knowing that he did tech stuff and I was a sales guy, and I was going to pitch him and ask that cardinal sin. What do you know about technology? Do you think you can code something for me to go sell? And little did I know at that time, and Vinny then explained that the decade of experience that he had prior to me meeting him was all in software and hardware, and it was kind of a match made in heaven there. From there, we just needed to make sure we had someone that killed it in design and also had some operational prowess, and that's where Rob Wheeler came into the photo as well. From there, I felt we were confident that we had the team to start the business.
Just like this, just so it's a little less loud.
Boomy.
And let's jump into the presentation.
Sounds good. And from there, we started Bikebac. Bikes go missing, Bikebac gets them back. The problem of bike theft, I think, can be easily represented with this statistic, but even more local and jarring is that in Vancouver alone, 1 in 3 people have had a bike get stolen. So if that's not yourself, it's probably the person to your left or to your right. And that's why we went and created the Bikebac Tracker. The Bikebac Tracker is the only subscription-free tracker for bikes available for both Apple Find My and Android Find Hub. It attaches to your bike using the bolts where your water bottle mounts or under your seat, and your accessories can still go on top to make it more hidden. But beyond the product, what we found most special was the impact that we've had for cyclists, which, based on our most recent customer data, bikes with a Bikebac Tracker are 11 times more likely to be returned to their owner after they go missing. And all of that has helped us with the traction that we've achieved today. Since launching the Apple-only version of our Bikebac Tracker in August of 2023, we've done $1.2 million in sales, representing over 35,000 trackers sold around the world. In the last month and a half, we finally completed and shipped the Android version of the Bikebac Tracker to address the other side of the house, and we have become profitable. Every year for the last 3 years, we've been able to double our revenues as well. We're asking $1.35 million to help us drive the next 100,000 unit sales and achieve $2 million of revenue within our next 12 months. This will help us make sure that we can manufacture enough product to sustain our scale and also localize product for EU markets where we're barely scratching, while also allowing us to take customer feedback and innovating for our next product. If you'd like to learn more, please find myself or Vinny at the back of the room there during the networking session, or reach out at my email there. I'd love to have a chat, and hopefully you'll join us on the ride.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Brian. And I like the logos on the t-shirts, makes it very easy for us to find, and the hats as well. So look out for those logos on the hats and the t-shirts. All right, our last 2.5 minute pitch is up. And so I'd like to introduce Charles to tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, what brought you to start Heymate, and then we'll get into 1.5 minutes for the presentation.
Hello. Hey, my name is Charles. I am a programmer turned operator. I started my career as a software programmer for an Australian fintech company. So as a solo developer, through my work, they went public eventually. I then later started a company that consulted within the F&B space around digital transformation. So through a 2-year period, we earned over $15 million in sales within the same team. So working with restaurants, I kept hearing the same thing. So there are too many tools, and that while delivery apps do work, they often charge way too much. So business loves bringing them customers, but it charges too much. Owners want a simple system for online delivery that charges fairly. So we've been building Heymate with that thesis in mind. So last month, I went to the San Francisco Tech Week. Between events, I just walked door to door to visit business owners and signed up 27 expression of interest just from a couple of days. So while that did not create the idea itself, it did confirm the business model and timing of our US expansion.
Put 1.5 minutes on the clock and take it away.
Cool.
And you've got your clicker here.
Okay. Delivery apps make everyone pays more. So ultimately, customers sees high menu prices while stores pay a huge commission and lose control of the pricing. Heymate is a simple system for direct orders and delivery. It is also AI powered for the owner, so that there's no need for prompts. We charge no commission for the store-driven orders, so owners do not need to jack up their prices. Early this year, we're running a cashback model charging 10% per order for the store. Over the last 6 months, we did pivot to our current commission-free model for store-driven orders. And with that change, the biggest difference we noticed is that it's much easier to sell, and then it ultimately allows business owners to actively promote us. And we're essentially getting customers at a very, very low cost. And for our AI source orders, we charge $1.75 plus 10% on each order. This had led combined revenue to be 45K MRR across 300 stores. Our growth plan is heavy US, and we are currently raising $1.4 million, giving us 18 months of runway to grow our store count to 1,800 and increase our per store MRR from $150 to $175. And that would ultimately hit 385K revenue per month, adjusted to foreign exchange by mid-late 2027. So if this fits your thesis, I'd love to talk after.
Fantastic. All right. So some really, really great companies that we heard from on our 2.5 minute pitches there. So thank you so much for that, Charles. And now we're moving on to the 5-minute presenters here. So Mark will get our first presenter up, and I'd like to introduce Douglas from Carbonyx to tell us a bit more here.
Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Douglas. I am one of the founders of Carbonyx, and we're on a mission to make CO2 storage profitable. Carbon removal is one of the main tools that we can use to fight climate change. This involves taking CO2 from the atmosphere and storing it somewhere safe, typically underground. This seems like a very elegant solution to the problem. However, it turns out that it's very difficult to scale a technology that isn't profitable. It's very expensive, and in most cases, your only source of revenue is going to be the sale of unreliable carbon credits. This might have been less of an issue about 4 or 5 years ago. The market has certainly changed, and our thinking needs to change along with it. That's why at Carbonyx, we can store CO2 at a profit, no carbon credits required. We integrate the removal of carbon with the production of advanced materials for industry. Our novel technology can store CO2 at a profit of $1,000 per ton compared to existing methods, which can operate at a cost of up to $1,000 per ton. There are 2 reasons we're better. Number 1, we eliminate many of the costly steps required to capture and store carbon. We take waste CO2, we couple this with solid industrial waste, and we feed these into our reactor. And as an output, we end up storing that carbon in the form of a solid carbonate, thus locking it away indefinitely. The second factor, and perhaps most importantly, is that as a byproduct of this process, we generate valuable recovered materials, unlocking an additional source of revenue. So now our story becomes far more compelling. We're not just another carbon removal company. We're healing the planet through the production of carbon negative materials. We can make carbonates, which build our cities. We make specialty silica, which is in everything from the toothpaste you use in the morning, and hopefully evening to the tires on your cars. And then we can also adapt our process to extract and isolate critical minerals, which is obviously a very hot topic right now as it can power the clean energy transition. Ultimately, all these products serve multi-billion-dollar markets that can scale with the need for carbon removal. But what's getting us really excited right now is as I mentioned, it seems to be in just about everything. And that's why our go-to-market strategy is to leverage the standalone value of this product. So we can offer up to 90% lower shipping costs compared to competitors. This is because we decentralize production through the use of our waste feedstocks, allowing us to co-locate near buyers. We can offer 80% lower CO2 emissions. So not only can our buyers advertise as eco-friendly, but there's also an additional tax credit incentive as well. And finally, we can operate at cost parity to existing suppliers, so there's zero green premium, and we can integrate as a drop-in solution to existing supply chains. And as we continue to build, we're forming some key partnerships along the way. So we've secured a beta partnership with RMC Ready Mix, which is the local concrete and cement manufacturer here in Vancouver. And they're providing us their waste concrete in order to test it in our reactor. And we're also forming a pilot agreement with Isometric in order to validate and monitor the carbon that we store. And then on the other side of things, we're in the process of forming beta partnerships with two of the largest silica processing companies in the world, in Vantec and US Silica, with the goal of future LOIs. Just as important as the technology is the team, and here we are, we're not as orange as this in real life, but you've spent the past few minutes with me, so I really want to take some time to highlight my wonderful co-founders, Dr. Mia Stankovic and Adrian Noble, both of whom have a breadth of experience in the fields of electrified production and reactor design, and they've been instrumental in advancing this technology. The three of us work alongside our wonderful co-founder and advisor, Dr. Curtis Berlingette, who is a pioneer in the fields of CO2 capture and conversion and has a number of clean tech ventures under his belt. Together, we're raising our $750K pre-seed. So key outcomes from this round, we're aiming to achieve commercial readiness. We're currently transitioning from our lab scale pilot reactor to a prototype reactor to a much larger unit, which can generate commercially relevant quantities of our silica and carbonates. We can de-risk, scale up to pilot, engage more thoroughly in R&D efforts and expand our product line. And then finally, we can unlock near-term revenue by engaging with third parties to certify our product. And then in this way, we can pave the way towards revenue within the first 2 years. That's it from me. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you can all join us on our path towards global decarbonization. Thank you very much.
I'll use this, you'll use that. All right, so we'll open it up for questions, and we've got one at the front here, so I'll go here and you can go to the back.
Hi there. I see that you mentioned carbon engineering. I'm just interested, how are you different than their technology, and like
Yes.
can they add this features, whatever you're doing, to their?
Yes.
I mean, we know that about their exit was very great.
Yeah, they had a great
So-
exit with Occidental Petroleum. We love carbon engineering.
Cashed on it.
Our advisor was one of the early builders at Carbon Engineering, so we're very familiar with the technology. And the core of their technology is they use something called alkaline CO2 capture. So they use base. It's a very good CO2 sorbent. It's great at capturing CO2. So we use a similar process in that respect. But we take it a step further and we use the carbonate ions that are produced from that process. And that's what we feed into our reactor. The advantage there is that we don't need to spend a lot of energy and money to extract that CO2 to then feed into the reactor. We can use it in its liquid form as a feedstock. So we don't need to engage in any thermal desorption processes. So we leverage kind of a similar workflow as carbon engineering upstream of our reactor. That answers your question.
Got a question here in the middle.
Hey, thank you. Great presentation, by the way. Thank you very much. What's your go-to-market and revenue model to support the growth of the business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I have my supplemental slides here. Fantastic. Sorry, I'm just going to hurt everyone's eyes as I go through this. Here we go. Yeah, so our current go-to-market strategy is to focus on the silica. As I mentioned, it's in just about everything. And that's great because for a typical carbon removal company, you have to hit multi-ton scale in order to actually unlock revenue and sign an offtake and generate revenue in that respect. If we're selling a material like silica, we have buyers at every stage of our growth. So at current scale, we can generate kilograms, many kilograms per year, which is rather humble, but it still does serve various market segments with lower volumes. So in this case, we can start to focus on cosmetics and personal care, and then ceramics. So those are two low volume buyers that have already expressed interest in our product. It's kind of a case of if you build it, they will come. So it's just a matter of throughput at this point. And then as we continue to scale and our throughput increases, that's when we can start to broaden our horizons, get into larger market volumes like rubber, cementitious materials. And this whole time, we're also generating carbonates, which are in and of themselves a revenue stream. That would be our current strategy.
All right, I want to ask a quick question and we'll go back to Abdul here. The customer validation is extremely important at this stage of the business. And so you're having these conversations with some of the beta testers and just others to validate that there is this demand and that they're open to working with you. What are these conversations like? What are these people saying at this stage?
I'll say what I said before. It's a case of if you build it, they will come. So in the case of, for example, our feedstock supplier, when we said we'd love to take your waste concrete and feed it into a reactor, they said, great, we have 40 tons of it that we just made this month. And we said our reactor is the size of a laptop, so we can't exactly process 40 tons at the moment. But yeah, everyone's looking for a solution now, so it really can't come fast enough, and it's a matter of throughput. And then on the silica side, I mean, we've had cosmetics companies that we've engaged with for customer discovery here in Vancouver that says, great, when can we procure a sample? So it's just a matter of getting capital, hitting go, and then increasing throughput.
Fantastic. We'll go to you, Abdul.
Quick question about scaling. And so what's the scale that you said that you're at right now?
So our initial prototype was about the size of your palm. As I mentioned, the larger unit that can produce tens of kilograms per year, that's about the size of a laptop, which is easier to operate from a footprint perspective. It can generate commercially relevant quantities of these products, but you're limited to the specific markets that you can serve.
And are you planning on basically partnering with the CO2 emitters to like are you leasing them the equipment? Are you selling them the equipment? How is the operations? How are you going to be operating in that field?
So the way we're approaching it right now is we're going to operate as an independent CO2 capture and materials supplier. And that will be the plan until we hit a pilot scale. And then once we hit pilot scale, there's a fork in the road where we can either branch out to continue to be our own materials supplier and CDR company, or we can end up become a hardware company, sell this technologies to let's say a cement or concrete manufacturer. The advantage there is there's zero retrofit for a concrete plant. They can recycle their waste that they produce on site in our reactor that doesn't need to integrate into their setup that they have. They can use the silica that we produce as cementitious material, and they can use the carbonates that we produce likewise as filler or even as a limestone substitute to some extent.
Okay, fantastic. I don't see any other questions right now. Oh, we've got one here, and we'll go to Masood after. So Charles, over to you.
Great presentation, thank you. I have one quick question about the minerals or the other recovered metals or whatever it is that you alluded to. Can you tell me a little bit about where you're going with that?
Yeah, so things that we are actively pursuing in the lab right now that we're stockpiling for commercial use would be the carbonates and the silica. But at the same time, we're engaging in R&D efforts to adapt our process for critical minerals. Right now, that's where the R&D is focused. It's not commercially viable yet. We don't have enough product to start circulating this. But essentially what we can do is we can electrify acid production that can integrate into a leaching process that can extract valuable metals, depending on your feedstock, if it's mine tailings, and depending on the type of metal you're mining for, you can extract gold, silver, nickel, any sort of, it just comes down to the solvent that you use afterwards. So yeah, there's an R&D pathway for us there as well.
And last question, Masood.
I had more of a technical question. With the carbon capture that you guys do, you said it pretty much with every ton you generate $1,000. How does that $1,000 generated, and like do you guys have any scaling issues that you might face later on? Because plants do the same thing, like they capture CO2, but they need the sunlight for that. So like what kind of energy do you guys use to pretty much capture that carbon, and also how do you generate money from it?
Yeah, so we're an electrochemical process, and just inherently you need electricity to make that work. Blue sky scenarios, you can tether this to renewables, and then fantastic, you have cheap, accessible electricity. But in all of our models, we don't assume any cheap, future source of electricity. We use current industrial rates in our modeling, and that's what gets us to our $1,000 per ton number. And that includes the sale of the silica and the carbonates, specifically. No other sources of revenue streams, no carbon credits either. But that is an additional source of revenue that we could pursue. And then if you're talking about scaling risk, well, the nice thing is that we leverage existing technology that's already used at scale today. So for any of those who are familiar with water electrolysis or hydrogen electrolyzers, we use very similar technology. We've retooled it to perform what's called CO2 mineralization, which is what converts CO2 into a rock, more or less. So yeah, we've got a pretty good roadmap, and we use completely off-the-shelf components. Thank you.
Great job. All right, thank you so much for that, Douglas. That was Carbonyx. Next up, I'd like to introduce Padma to tell us a little bit about Scopesys. I'll hand over to you, and you can take it away.
So much. I'm Padma Kodikula, and I'm CEO of Scopesys. We're looking at nanoparticles-based medicines, which are a standard of care, a standard modality today, given the technology and its validation with the COVID vaccine. Nanoparticle analytics, however, a multi-billion-dollar drug market, is failing to keep up. Current technologies look at high-level averages and static measurements, which are not good. Scopesys is a single molecule analytics company, and we deliver deep multi-parametric data for drug discovery when you're optimizing the drug and to become quality control metrics in manufacturing. We also are the data generator for AI and ML models for designing better drugs, cutting cycle time, and enabling success rates. The platform is called convex lens-induced confinement, and it's essentially single molecule imaging. On the left-hand side is this device or an attachment that is going to sit on a microscope, any microscope, and it can enhance the power of that microscope. In the middle is how the technology works. Essentially, between two pieces of glass, we can trap or confine the biomolecules into little nano spaces that enables them to be on the same focal plane of the microscope, thus allowing us to look at them in a deep manner and for long periods of time. Multiple granted patents that we have exclusive license for building the company, and many publications that have been reported. Here I provide just two sample data which cannot be provided by other technologies on the market today. On the left-hand side are structural insights of these nanoparticles. We can label the nanoparticle, the lipid layer, and more importantly, the payload or dual payloads inside with different colors to understand the co-localization, to understand the quantification, and the structural organization. This cannot be done unless you go to a cryo-EM today. On the right-hand side, real-time interaction kinetics. By changing assay conditions, we can see what's happening to your drug molecules. These are just two examples, and we can look at particle by particle as well as at a population level. The platform has been validated. We have established product market fit. We have worked with multiple top 10 pharma companies. Scopesys is revenue generating since 2021, and we have also enjoyed some grant funding. With respect to the future, we are looking to build and commercialize instruments with consumables that can be placed at the scientist's lab for their use. We are looking to build the Scope Top, which we launched in year 2027, and Scope Omni in 2029. Both of these instruments will have application-specific single-use consumables. The goal for the company is to have multiple revenue streams. Since 2021, we are already generating revenue through contract services today, and our intent is to go forward, adding instruments and consumables for revenue. With respect to market competition, the click technology extends the analytical limits and brings together multiple technologies and takes them further. So bringing together microscopy, nanoparticle analytics, and molecular interactions, and going further where these technologies cannot. I won't go through the table, but you can see how we go beyond with some of the current existing technologies. For market assessment, we have done a top-down and a bottom-up approach, And just looking at nanoparticle analytics, which is one application, it's a multi-billion-dollar market. We are looking at more than 2,000 accounts as our addressable market. Now, we can also go into nucleic acids, which is another application, and into live cells and biologics. The executive team between Sabrina Leslie, technology inventor and co-founder, she's sitting in the back there, and myself, we bring the scientific, the technical, and the business information. And James and Andre are our mentors who are serial entrepreneurs having successfully launched and exited companies. Revenue forecast, I'll quickly skip through. With the instruments, we are looking for a great scale up in terms of revenue. For our ask, currently we are looking for $1.5 million in pre-seed. We already are closing our first tranche of $700,000 and looking for the remaining $700,000, $800,000 to close this round. And on the right, you can see where we're going to use the funds for instrument and building the team. Thank you so much for your time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Padma. All right, we'll open it up for Q&A. And while I wait for hands to run up, I will ask a question or two of my own. So you've been running this for 5 years or longer, and it's been more of a service-based business. How do you know that this makes sense as a product-based business and that your customers are actually going to pay for this?
Yes, very good question. It's because over the years, we have heard pharma companies ask for a product. Pharma companies with their proprietary formulations do not want to ship them across countries and get them tested in other people's labs. And the second reason is also some of our competing technologies, DLS, NTA, they're all sit as benchtop instruments in the labs. So for those two reasons, we really do believe that an instrument business will really enable a wider adoption worldwide.
At the front here, Abdul.
So you're selling the hardware. Are you selling any software on top of it? Is there any reoccurring models going to happen, or?
Yes, there is the hardware and the software is part of it because it does the data capture and the data analytics. The recurring revenue is through the consumable. It's a single-use consumable, one sample, one consumable that will be the recurring revenue. And we'll also have...
Like every time?
Every time, pharma is something we should explore, but pharma is very hesitant in providing you, it's their data they are generating, so they are not open to providing, pay-per-click for AI, but it's something we are looking to when it comes to the data for AI models.
Next.
What is the valuation of the company and what is your exit strategy?
I would love to speak in private about the valuation of the company. Given revenue generation, we already have a valuation. And the exit strategy, we really see multiple types of companies who would be very interested, such as the Nikons, the Zeiss, who are microscopy companies, very interested in the content and assays. Also, companies such as Danaher, Thermo Fisher, who are tools analytics companies, Cytiva. And in fact, one company I worked previously, Precision Nanosystems, was acquired by Danaher.
And I'll add just so that if anyone knows What If Capital, Scopesys sits within our sweet spot of valuation. So it's a good valuation for those who know. But definitely talk to Padma after about the valuation there as well. We have another question here.
A follow-up, just so you said you have an AI model that's work. So how are you going to deploy that AI model to that client to run on they have to run their own hardware to run it, or like some sort of...
Yeah, our AI model is embedded in our instrument and its operation. So, at this time, the software uses AI for simulating and predictions, and that's how we use. So it's part of the hardware and the software right now. It's all standalone together.
All right. I'd like to ask one question before we wrap up here. You've been around for a little while and you validated this tech. Why haven't you raised money to date?
Yes. And again, this is Sabrina and her model. She's a professor at UBC. And when starting this company in 2017, it worked. There was a lot of interest from pharma. So she's essentially been doing contract projects that funded the few students that enabled the further development of the tech and, the applications. Until now, where we really see you have to scale the company up with an instrument, with a sales team, and go broad. Until now, it's all been inbound requests and her being just sustainable and cash flow positive. So we are introducing the instrument and the consumable with a much bigger commercial presence worldwide, which is why we are raising the funds now.
Much, Padma.
Thank you.
All right, that was Scopesys, and make sure to speak with Padma and Sabrina afterwards during our networking. Next up, I would like to introduce Armin from Avioxa AI to introduce us to your company. That's to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Armin, and I'm here today to introduce my new startup to you. I guess when you guys fly, one of your biggest concern is losing your luggage, and that's the problem that we are focusing on. So around 36.2 million bags are annually mishandled, which costs the industry around $5 billion. 45% of the errors, which means putting the bag in the wrong carousel or somewhere it shouldn't go, happens in the transfer stations where they move the luggage from the conveyor belt to the carousel that actually goes to the airplane. So the target market that we currently have is North America and Europe, where this, believe it or not, this problem is worse than the rest of the world. And we have a solution. So we have an AI-powered computer vision system that gets connected to the airport's BRS, or baggage reconciliation system. So it already knows what the baggage looks like, and it knows what the tag number is, and it knows which airplane it should go to. And all we do is that we watch the people who actually pick up these bags and place them into the carousels. And if one of them does something wrong, we just warn them. The good thing about this solution is that it's non-intrusive. We don't directly interfere with their operation. We are just on the side watching, and all of them already have the cameras that we need watching this area because of the security issues that may happen. So we currently have one proof of concept installed in an airport in Germany, as you can see in this video, looking at a chute that actually delivers the luggage to the person who needs to put them into those carousels. And interestingly, in this case, this chute is just servicing one airport, or sorry, one flight. And there is no problem of mishandling. But the other thing that they are concerned with is to make sure that all of the luggage that were handed over by the customers actually arrive here and are put into the carousel. So that's what we are doing. And we actually did an offline surveillance, and we found 8 out of 8 labeling errors that they had in that sequence here. So we currently have traction from some large airports like King Khalid Airport, which handles pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. Menzies, which is one of the top 3 ground handlers, is very interested in investment. And we have another 8 airport in waiting list. And you would be surprised to know that we didn't do any marketing. All we did was we posted the previous video that we showed you on LinkedIn, and they reached out to us. So based on some very rough estimation about how many airports are there, how many transfer stations are there, and so forth, we have a TAM of around $0.8 billion, a SAM of around $0.2 billion. And if we just tap into the current opportunities in our pipeline and fully materialize them, it can turn into $3.9 million ARR. The pricing that we have is $12,000 per year to watching those stations with conveyor belts, and $3,600 per chute. So currently we are the only solution that can offer low cost, ease of use, and what I like to call non-intrusiveness and preventiveness into the equation. And we can also tap into other verticals, as you can see below. So I myself am a serial entrepreneur. My previous startup is AloAI. Some of you invested in that company, including Vantec. And my friend Ali is the founder and CEO of another company local here, Carbonyx, which sells software to companies like United Airlines. What we are looking for is $1 million for 20% of the post-money valuation. We are going to use it to build our AI team. do more pilot installations, and clear our path to $1 million ARR. And we already have a proven IP, active leads, and POC agreements. Thank you very much.
Right. Great job, Armin. All right, we'll open it up for Q&A. I'll start us off again. And tell us how you know that your customers are actively looking for this. Are you solving a mission critical problem for them?
We certainly are. I think the biggest clue is what I just mentioned regarding not having done any marketing yet and having all these leads. A good thing about this technology, again.
We got a question from Abdullah.
Are you still involved with AloAI or?
I'm no longer there. I actually left Apparel last year. I still have my shares there.
That's cool. So the question was also here for the model you're using off the shelf kind of YOLO model or something like that, like AI model, or?
Oh, this is something that we have
So
done.
did you train for it? You own it, everything?
Exactly, because I mean, I'm not sure how much you know about the process of training AI, but there is no good data set for the kind of thing that we are doing. So we had to create our own data set. And then another good thing is that it keeps becoming better and better because we actually record it and,
How large is your model? Does it run on the customer end or on your end?
So currently we need to run it locally on a PC. It's not that large.
Okay.
But one of the plans that we have is that we want to move it to the cloud because the amount of data transfer that we need from the camera is not that much. I mean, we need to usually down sample the video into around 1 megapixel per scene to feed it to our AI.
Great, we've got a question here.
Sorry, I write everything down. So what prevents major luggage competitors like, what is it, Siemens, Honeywell, or Sayat to develop a similar solution and undercut your market? What's your moat, I guess?
Well, nothing. I mean, same way that nobody prevented anybody to offer anything similar to AloAI when I started. I think what matters here is good execution and moving fast. Companies like Siemens don't move fast at all.
All right. Any other questions? Rob, we've got one over here. I'll let you run over. Oh, just wait for the mic for the people online.
You said you had 8 customers on the waiting list. Is that?
These are leads.
Oh,
Yes,
leads.
these are leads. Yeah.
Could you service those today? Like, could you do what you need to do and sell those?
We could if we can actually raise the money, because what currently is happening is that we have assigned limited, resources to this project to see, how good attraction we can get from investors, because this is something that needs investment if we want to grow fast. And if we can get the money that we want, then we'll speed it up and then handle all of those leads and more.
So what's involved in delivering the solution to that?
So I would say mostly, moving our system to the cloud. I think that would make it much easier. But even before then, we need people to actually travel to those sites and install that PC that is supposed to get the feed from those cameras. And they're all over the world. Unfortunately, they are not local.
Let's stay on the customer sort of topic for a second here. And just as a last question, tell us a bit about your go-to-market. Like, how are you finding the customers that are already in your pipeline?
Well, there are different ways to do that. I would say probably the easiest way is to go after ground handlers like Menzies that I mentioned. We had a similar experience with them in another, product that they deployed that product in one airport in Italy. And since they liked it, within 3 months, they moved it to 15 different airports that they were operating. So that probably is the best way to go. And also talking to the authorities of the.
Thanks so much, Armin.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Maddie from Candry to tell us a little bit about your business. I'll pass you the controls here and let you take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Maddie Alias, CEO and founder of Candry Technologies. Our mission is to unlock a better, faster, and more scalable drawing technology. Drawing is a critical step across food, pet food, nutraceutical, and many more industries. But today it means compromise. Thermal drawing is fast and cheap, but destroys over 40% of nutrients. Freeze drawing preserves the nutritional values, but it's very slow and costly. And Candry removes that trade-off. Our technology is a combination of vacuum, microwave, and a unique patented design. It's all electric and clean energy. And the superior result of our technology is that we are removing the moisture very fast in just 1 hour at your body temperature, so that all of the nutrients and vitamins are preserved during the dehydration process. The two machines you see in the picture are two different scales of our dryers, currently being operational in our service drying facility in Coquitlam. The difference speaks for itself. On the top, thermally dried products, and on the bottom, fresh products. And the middle one is what Candry dried, which is very similar to the fresh look of the product. Drying is a massive global market worth over 286 billion across food, pet food, and nutraceutical. We are starting with 26 billion pet food industry, and we have a clear path to make 27 million in 5 years in pet food. From there, we will expand into food and nutraceutical, opening much larger opportunities for us. And we have already a strong early tractions in food, working with like McCain or other Canadian brands like Chibis. So we started with pet food because it appreciates premium quality. Our technology performs exceptionally well with protein-based products. This market is underserved by innovation. It's growing fast, and there is less regulations and less competition in pet food. And brands love Gentle Dry for raw nutrition quality, aroma, and texture. So this is the post from our client, Red Dog Blue Cat, a leading pet food brand in Canada, advertising Gentle Dry in their social media, and it's a validation that money can't buy for us. So the technology is patented and proven in pet food industry. We have one patent which is granted in Canada and pending in US. Second patent has been filed. And also we have trademarks for our technology name, which is Gentle Dry and Candry. Regarding the commercial attractions, we dried over 38 tons of products for our customers. And in the past 9 months, we made 270,000. And we have 21 active SKUs in the market for our customers that use Gentle Dry for making them. The company was bootstrapped, and we secured 3 million in grants. And that's just the start. We have the potential to make 2.9 million in the next year from the current clients that we have contract with, and also the new clients that we recently added to our line, and then the ones that we are in the pricing and product development talks. And also there are larger brands working with us, like McCain, who could lead to a multi-million-dollar deal. Gentle Dry removes the moisture in 1 hour to 1.5 hours compared to 16 to 48 hours with freeze drying. Lab proven, we are preserving 97% of the nutrients. The energy usage and the drying cost is efficient, and the footprint is very small, only 80 square feet compared to hundreds for other techs. The business starts with toll drying that builds trust with customers. They can use our technology in-house to build their product and test the market. And from there, usually the bigger brands convert to equipment buyers, and smaller ones stick with us for long-term drying service. Each dryer can make 2.1 million per year in drying service and sells for 900,000 at a strong. And with that, we will make 27 million by 2029. Candry has a scalable, commercially proven technology and a strong technical team. We are on track to make 350,000 this year in revenue, and with each machine pays for itself in only 4 months. And there is no capex for us needed to get to 2.1 million in revenue, and we have near-term profitability. So we are raising 1.5 million. 1 million is equity, and another 500,000 from Agriculture Agri-Food Canada, who supported us so far, and that's a non-dilutive loan, 0 interest. With that, we will double our production capacity, hire sales team, and also secure a couple of clients in US and reach 6.5 million in revenue in 2020 by working with more than 25 brands. And also we will start early expansion into food market. Thank you very much. We have one pagers like this that have information about our technology and our company, and also some pineapple samples that you can try in our desk.
Fantastic. I'll let you keep the controls as we go into the Q&A here. I'll start us off again. I like this. All right. I didn't hear anything about your team. Tell us why you are the team to pull this off and to succeed with this business.
Yeah, for sure. I have over 10 years of experience in food automation, and I saw the pain of the industry myself. And also I have my father, who is another co-founder. He works on the technology development while I'm focused mostly on the business development side. And also we have George as our fractional CFO, helping us with fundraising and financial modeling. And Sandra is helping us with the QA and regulations so that our customers can export their products. And finally, we have Sasha, who tries our treats and give us a green light.
I love it. All right. Still no hands in the air here, so I will jump into another question. You talked a little bit at the end of the presentation about scalability and how this is a scalable tech. Can you provide a bit more detail on that? I'm struggling a little bit on that side of things.
For sure. Yes. So the technology is scalable, and we have plans to scale both sides of the business. So for us, because we are a tool drawing and equipment seller business, for us to grow this, we need to grow both sides, tool drawing and the equipment sellers. For growing the tool drawing part, we are working with more clients and advertising Gentle Dry and asking them to advertise on their packages so that other brands become interested. Our current facility has capacity to increase to 6 million in revenue per year with having 3 machines, and that's one of the reasons that we want the investment for. And on the equipment side, first of all, we want to help our customers to become an equipment buyer. They try the tool model, and it's kind of a demo hub for them to test before they purchase an equipment. And eventually, we will contact directly the companies in North America who need a dryer in pet food or human food. And lastly, we will work with a distributor or OEM company to get this technology worldwide accessible to other companies to purchase.
Just a quick question. Thank you. I actually met Tom in the New Venture BC, and I sampled your pineapple. It's good.
Thank you.
I'm actually interested to know, like, where is your focus right now? Are you on the contract drying or the equipment? Because
Excellent
the
question.
equipment, like the manufacturing of the equipment here, what's the cycle? What's your margins on it? I understand it's a mix of microwave and heat drying kind of in a way. So
Yes.
are you going to be manufacturing overseas or manufacturing here? Or?
Excellent question. So because we are still developing the technology, for us, it was making sense to only focus on the tool drawing while we are testing the technology, building the trust with it. And right now, we are at the stage that the technology has been proven. We got the required certification for both the technology side and the tool drawing facility. And now we are at the stage that we can talk more seriously with our customers to kind of like push them to purchase. And regarding the building the equipment, so what we do is that we broke the pieces of this equipment into many different projects, at least like 5 to 7 different contractors that we are working with. And then we send each part to some of them to Germany, some of them to China to manufacture so that nobody can really understand what we are doing. And at the end, we are assembling them in Canada. For each equipment to be built, we need 4 months.
And one last question.
Yeah. Do you mind expanding on your moats a little bit? In particular, I want to know what the point of invention is in your 2 patents, please.
So your question is about the 2 patents that we filed, right?
What
Yes.
exactly did you invent?
Yes. So the first patent is a combination, is a core of the technology, which is a combination of vacuum, microwave, and infrared. that protects the core of the technology. The second patent was filed, and it's an improvement of the current technology that we have. And that one is for distributing the waves in a way that microwave drawing happens more uniformly. And that's a pain in the market that other companies have faced, like N-Wave or New Wave, and they have ununiform drawing. We have a new patent, PCT, that filed around like we filed the first provisional application a year ago and worked on it. And 2 weeks ago, we filed the PCT to protect the uniform drawing of the microwave.
Thanks so much, Maddie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Already got mine. All right. So next up, and our final presenter for this evening, I'd like to introduce Mickey to tell us about oome.
Thank you so much for having me this evening, and look forward to speaking to you about my business. Tofu has been around for centuries. It's high in protein, it's minimally processed, it's a fantastic product. However, I also recognize that for many people, it's considered to be bland, hard to add flavor to, honestly, just uninspiring. So this is where oome comes into play. My name is Mickey Talebi. I'm the founder and CEO, and we're here to really disrupt the category, something that really hasn't changed in decades. We have really brand forward packaging that captivates the attention of the consumer, but most importantly, the product, when you taste it, really does speak above the crowd. We're infusing our tofu with really clean and simple ingredients, and then we're smoking it with cherry wood that we source from our family orchard in Oliver, BC. So our target consumer, she's a woman, she's 30 to 40 years old, she's really wellness oriented, is the one that's making those decisions at the grocery store level, adding products to her basket. And if she's a mother feeding her family, she really values feeding them healthy and wholesome and safe products as well. But what I really want to emphasize about all of this is that we have really targeted where she's shopping and launched our product into those specific retailers. So we launched in May of 2022. Within the first 6 months, we were in 50 retailers. The following year, we had reached into 250 retailers across the province. Following, we broke into Ontario, being in 500 retailers, and today you can find us across the country in over 650 retailers and counting. Additional points of traction, we built a team of 5. Last year, we moved into our own dedicated in December. We launched our 4th SKU, which was our habanero honey, and it's been incredibly well received. We've reached break even, which was a great moment. Also raised $100,000 in non-dilutive funds, and we've received a number of earned media coverage that just helps with that brand awareness and brand education. Our product costs $2.20 to make. We sell it to the distributor at $4.08. We also do have some direct customers. And so suggested retail price is $8.99, and that does vary depending on the customer. Gives us a gross margin of approximately 40%, but we have a path to continue to grow and increase that. So we have a number of reasons why we stand above the crowd. I will be the first to say we are not the only smoked tofu company on the market, but I'm going to point you towards 2 key features that really does differentiate us. We have by far the longest shelf life compared to our competitors, and I'm happy to go into more detail afterwards about that. And we have really innovative, unique flavors that just broadens that use case opportunity across your day as well as across different events during the year. Now, in terms of the market, there's an increased adoption of plant-based that's really driving the tofu market, and this is due to a number of factors. The first is just a greater awareness around the health benefits of consuming tofu. The second, there's been just so much more awareness around sustainability and choosing products, and tofu does really check that box off. And the last piece is there's been a real return to consuming more minimally processed whole foods products compared to your ultra-processed, such as your Beyond Meats in the category. So revenue-wise, we have tripled our revenue year over year for the first couple of years. This year, we are on track to be at least doubling our revenue, and we have a clear path to continue to do that year over year over the next few years. So how exactly do I plan to accomplish that? Well, 2 key pieces, really optimizing our sales with our existing customers, focusing on refining that promotional strategy and growing velocity. And the second piece is there's still lots of room for us to grow here in Canada. So we really want to saturate Canada's retail opportunities, and then we would think about growing down south very strategically and organically. This leads me to our ask. We are doing a pre-seed round at a $500,000 safe note. with a for-money, post-money valuation cap, and this would give us a 2-year runway to accomplish some very specific milestones. The first piece is, as I mentioned, really doubling our points of distribution. And the second piece, that would give us that opportunity to reach that 2.5 to 3 million in annual recurring revenue. And we would be adding some key team members to achieve those milestones. And then the additional piece I want to just highlight here is we're always thinking about innovation. And so we would be using non-dilutive means to continue growing our line extension. So use of funds, the majority of that is going to go towards just the cost of doing business and growing into new retailers, marketing, and then growing our team base. So thank you so much, and I look forward to chatting further.
Yes, Mike, I'll come over with the mic.
Yeah, thanks, Mickey. I'm just wondering, what are the exit multiples in this line of business?
Yeah, so the exit multiples, recently there was a tofu company in California actually called Hodo. It's undisclosed, but there's speculation that that one exited for around 40 to 50 million. And so there's a really strong opportunity. And I think the tofu market is really having a moment right now. So there's lots of opportunity for us.
On revenue?
Oh, the multiple on revenue. It's around 4x is the multiple for CPG.
The obvious question I have is, tell us more about how you're able to extend the shelf life.
Yes. So we actually use high pressure processing, which is a technology that's been around for a while, primarily used for juice. But we are the only tofu company that's doing that. And that gives us 4x the shelf life of our competitors. So it really reduces that barrier to entry for customers when we're launching our product into the store. We definitely have minimal shrinkage when it comes to bringing our product onto the retailer's shelf life.
At the back there with Tom, and then I'll come to you.
Thanks for the presentation. You mentioned velocity, which is really the whole game. And what are you finding that your retailers are requiring in terms of velocity, units per week, per store? And how are you performing against those requirements that is going to let you stay and get more, et cetera?
So I'm going to be fully transparent. We're a very small brand at this stage, so we're not purchasing data per se, but I have really close relationships with all of our buyers. I'm our broker. We don't have a broker right now. So anecdotally speaking, when I speak to the buyer at Save On Foods, for example, he's very happy with how he can see that we're adding dollars to Save On Foods as opposed to your more conventional entry point tofu. So velocity wise, I can, like at Whole Foods, for example, it's 6 units per SKU per week per door. But yeah, anecdotally, we've had great feedback.
Thank you for your presentation. That was really good. Just have a question on your smoking process. I mean, I've heard that you shouldn't need too much smoked salmon. It tastes great, but smoking process is an offset. Can you comment on this, on the health or safety issue on smoking?
I mean, I think it's with everything, like I don't know anyone who doesn't barbecue in the summer or have, pepperoni and salami and everything. All of those pieces are smoked. And so it's as with anything that you're going to consume it in moderation, but we're not adding nitrites. We use really, really good ingredients and it's a traditional smoking process. There's no like liquid smoke or anything added to our product. So it's I think it's a personal decision if you choose to avoid all things that are smoked or not. But yes, we'll have samples so you can come by and try.
Don't.
How are you making the customers aware of your product? What's your marketing strategy? Are you sampling? I mean, that's the most important part. I feel there, like for people to know that this product is on the shelf and go out seeking it.
Absolutely. You're right. And I think that, part of what has given us such great traction is our packaging. It is doing a lot of heavy lifting for us because it's really attracting the consumer's attention, but we're doing lots of in-store demos. We're very active on social media, offering recipes and different points of inspiration. And then we do trade shows, both industry facing as well as consumer facing, to really educate the consumer around our product.
All right. And I'm going to steal the last question here. Why did you start this business? What was your aha moment?
It's all about family, truly. So my father was incredibly passionate about food in general, and he had a smoker, loved using his smoker to create amazing, not tofu meal. And he actually passed away in 2020, and I ended up inheriting his smoker. And in that moment, there was also just no smoked tofu for whatever reason on the market during the pandemic. So it was an opportunity to honor him, but do something that really more aligned with my own personal values. And so being half Japanese, I also wanted to launch something that stood out, was well merchandised. It's a great product, and I want it to stand out on the shelf. So 3 months into launching oome, my husband saw that we had really great traction, and he decided to join the business, and he's our COO. But his father has a cherry orchard in Oliver, and for him, there was this aha moment of, well, why aren't we using the cherry wood to smoke tofu? It's this beautiful, delicate wood that adds to this amazing, delicate protein. And so it was like this great marriage, and it really is full circle around honoring our families, and that's the why that keeps us going.
Thank you so much, Mickey.
Thank you.
All right, and I am very excited to try some of this oome. They do have samples at the back that you can definitely try afterwards, not to worry. So yes, that brings us to the end of the presentations for this evening. Remember, if you've got any feedback, you'd like to get connected or show any interest, you can use the QR code or those paper copies that are floating around. A couple of last points before we get into networking here. Our last event of the year is going to be at where we've started for so long at SFU Venture Labs, and I hope to see you all there on December 3rd. And yes, there's another reminder, SFU Venture Labs, and that does it. Thank you all so much for joining this evening.